Hey guys, and welcome back to Forest Game 03, where today we are finishing off the English Village Manor. So on last Friday I put out part 1 to this two-part video, I guess, and then this is part 2. So in case you guys haven't checked out the first one, I would definitely recommend checking out, because otherwise you won't get the full build. So yeah, I've also put out the shell and landscaping on my Patreon, so in case you guys would like to download it, you can go on over there and check that out. So in the last video we built all of the bedrooms as well as the dining hall, and then in this video we are doing the living / entertainment space / room, the kitchen, the gardens, and the small storage house thingy in the back garden as well. So yeah, so right now we are working on the living room, and this room I end up dividing into two spaces, one being a really nice cozy sitting room with 4 couches and a nice large TV where the family can gather in on Friday evenings and play games or watch TV together, just relax as a family. There's plenty of space there, so everyone can even have their own couch or whatnot. And then in the other half of the space we have a games table, a fireplace, a piano, and a bunch of art on the walls that June had illustrated / painted. I thought that June could learn to play the piano as a little kid, because Minx is also a musician, but he's more a rock and roll sort of guy, which June is as well, but Lara is more into the classical musics. She enjoys rock and whatnot, but that's her preference, and so they decided that they would get June to learn both types of music, including the piano. So there's the piano where June can practice, and I think that maybe Lara can also dabbles in the piano, so that's a thing that they could bond over or whatnot. There's also there's the games table, which sadly is only for 4 people, so not quite the whole family can play, but all of the pretty much adults can, so that's something that they can do together. And there's the second fireplace there. In the last video I remembered I hadn't actually included any chimneys, so I went back in and did add those. I also remembered that in the kitchen there's the stove, so I thought that would probably also need a chimney, so there's 3 chimneys in total, 2 for the fireplaces, 1 for the stove. Then I also remembered that I hadn't actually talked about Lara's nor Minx's traits, and I also hadn't talked about Sawyer, so I basically just talked about June and Riley. So I think that it might be a good idea for me to talk a bit about the rest of them. Now, in terms of Minx, his traits are music lover, family oriented, and passionate. I thought that would fit him really well, so that's what I went with. And then for Lara, she is feeble, which is a custom trait by Qingyu, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's who it's by. And it basically means that she's just not that well coordinated, she's not great at exercise, that sort of thing. She's also analytical and a homebody, which ties in with that nicely. She is a startup entrepreneur, so she is in the computing career path, and then Minx is a stay-at-home dad. And I gave both of them the eternally faithful trait, and I can't remember whether that is Wicked Whims or something else, but I did give them that because I just wanted them to be soulmates, and I think that they found in each other what they were searching for, and they are very much content and couldn't be happier with anyone else, and so they're internally faithful. They wouldn't even think about looking at someone else, because why would they when they have the most amazing person, when they're already married to the most amazing person in the entire world, So yeah, in terms of Minx, there's a really nice garden patch for plants and fruit and vegetables and herbs and all that, and I thought that that's something that he enjoys. I think he enjoys both cooking but also like tending to the garden. And I think that because there's the new stuff pack that's going to be coming out, I think in like 2 weeks time, which is the does it have a name? I'm not 100% sure, but it's basically the home cook stuff pack, and I thought that that would be awesome, to be honest. I think that that fits really nicely for both what I'm thinking of for him as well as for June. I think that that would fit both of them pretty well, because I think that I don't know if Minx is quite like interested in like selling, but I do think he's definitely interested in like having a good stocked up kitchen and gardening and all that. And I think that I would want for June to do that, because they will have a bunch of kids, her and Hazel together, so it would be a nice little side hustle for her to have. And yeah, so there's that. We are currently working on the kitchen slash breakfast nook slash casual dining space, and it's rather large. I did struggle a little bit with like figuring out how to furnish it, like how I wanted to lay it out and all that, but I think that I'm pretty content with how it ended up. I like in this video I am cutting up every single little tiny thing, but I do end up going back and like editing that down a bit so that there's more counter space that's like free, so that we can actually play in this space and have areas for people to cook alone but also together. So yeah, I thought that because there's the little breakfast nook with like sofas and stuff, and I thought that that was just like a casual little space for them to maybe sit down if they didn't really want to sit at the table, just wanted to like casually sit down on the sofa, they could just sit there. And then there's the like round dining table in there as well, and I thought that that's where they eat all their meals that they're eating together, or if they don't want to eat at the breakfast nook, they eat there, because I think that the one in the dining hall is very much for like special occasions, or like when they're hosting or stuff like that, you know. So not every day. So it's more for Christmas, Samhain, or stuff like that, you know. So for actual large occasions where they might like invite people over and stuff like that. So yeah, I do have Rani's cookbook installed in my game, which is awesome because it adds a bunch of really cool new recipes. I also have a bunch of Luminous, I think that's or Lumpinu, something like that. There's this one custom content creator who makes custom herbs and ingredients and stuff like that. I have a bunch of their stuff also installed. So yeah, I also have a mod installed that lets me turn the use a stand mixer as like a cupcake machine, which is really great. The new stuff pack is also gonna let you do that pretty much, but I'm not gonna lie, I think I'd prefer to have like a custom content version of it instead of like EA's version, because I do try to get like the things that I'm searching for in this game. I do my best to like find it as custom content, because I feel like that is way more accessible and also a lot fucking cheaper. So I do my best to use custom content wherever I can instead of like EA stuff. Also because I don't really want to spend like 100, like yesterday I was thinking about all the packs that like interested me and whatnot, and like adding all of that together, that's like £200 minimum for all of those, and like I ain't got that money. I like I basically don't get any money from making these videos and like all of this content, so investing £200 just to get a bunch of packs that might not give me a return is like, it just doesn't really make much sense to me. I would just much rather be able to give to content creators and like people who I enjoy and like and whatnot, rather than like huge organizations, you know. There's this one guy who makes his name is Jeff Yurt. He is a tiny content creator here on YouTube, and he is so cool. He's like, I literally look up to him so much, because not in terms of this type of content, there's a little secret. The Sims 4 is not the only sort of content that I want to be making. I do want to be making like basically like history, essays, or like other stuff as well, or like doing storytelling, which like the Sims 4 is pretty good for storytelling, but like I want to be doing a lot of different things, and like what he does is just like so fucking cool to me, because like he makes alternate reality games. He makes like little tiny, like his videos are pretty much like tiny movies, like a bunch of them are like tiny movies. He had like all of his content is just so fucking cool, and like I love him, and it's like I can't really explain it, but like everything he does is just like awesome, and it's like an inspiration, and like it's on a bunch of different topics, and like he does a bunch of different things where it's like it's all so cool, and like being able to support him makes me happy because I want him to be able to do anything he wants to, like in terms of content and all that, and I want to be able to support him in doing that, help him have creation, like content, like all that being what he does, because that's what he wants to do, and I want to support him in that, you know. So it's like anyway, I am rambling on. But yeah, go check out Jeff here. He's awesome. He's awesome. I don't even know what I was talking about. I think I was saying that I don't want to support EA in terms of like money. And so I do my best to use custom content wherever I can instead of EA stuff, because I also want to show you guys that you don't need to spend like thousands of pounds or dollars or whatever on EA just to be able to enjoy this game, because there is plenty of stuff that you can actually get through custom content instead of that is often free, and like 100% go support those creators because they actually like put in a ton of work to like do all of this, and probably the majority of downloads they get are like for free and like from people who don't support them financially, and it's like I want them to be able to continue doing what they enjoy doing and whatnot, so definitely do go out and like help support those people. But well, we're working on the garden, so I guess I will share a few thoughts on that. So there's the little like garden shed, and that is a space where I don't have laundry day, and I don't think I will ever be getting laundry day because I don't really see how that would actually like help improve my personal gameplay style and all that. But I do have like custom content like fake a washer and dryer in there, just to pretend that there's like a washing station in there where they can go and like do their laundry and everything. And then on the other side in that shed there's like a drum set which isn't technically functional, like it functions as a piano sadly, but it is what it is. I couldn't find one that would like function as like an actual drum set that I liked. I think there was one, but I wasn't too keen on it, so I decided not to go with that and just went with this because I think that the drum set is pretty nice. So yeah, so let's just pretend that it's like an actual drum set and not a piano. But like anyway, so I have a drum set in there and like 3 guitars, so I think that those are like shared between June and Minx. And then in front of that shed there's all of those like, they're not pots, but like all of those like, there's like 2 lines of like planters. There's 2 lines of planters where Minx has all of his like vegetables, fruits, herbs, all of that. In the back corner I also gave him like a little pot, like space where he can have his like weed growing, because this is definitely a household that likes to indulge in recreational drugs from time to time, because why not? So yeah, he has his own like little weed patch there. And then at the front of the house there's like, on the left there's like a really nice little place where there's like a fountain and there's a hanging chair. I don't know, words. I ain't great at words, in case you hadn't noticed. Like words and me, I don't know. But there's like the chair thingy that like hangs and like you can swing on, like a swinging bench, a swinging chair, I don't know, like something like that. But like, so it's like a really nice space where, honestly also quite romantic, just like a nice little quiet space where they can go sit down, look at the fountain, or the sprays water, and like think or like read a book or like make out or whatever it is that they would like to do. I'm so glad that the little that sizing down the like round grassy thingies doesn't like block Sims from like walking over them, that like Sims can walk over that. That was awesome. Like the fact that they can do that is super helpful, because I do end up finding all of these pathways with those, so I'm glad that that those did like not block them, because otherwise I'd have an issue in terms of the planters. Also at the front of the house I was just talking about with the fountain, I put a like a monkey bar set, because I wanted there to also be like something that like children could do in this house, because it's definitely like a family house, and like there's Sawyer, who the parents definitely wanted something for them to be like able to play with and whatnot, and also they would definitely be having all of the like grandkids coming over as often as possible, because Minx and Lara both definitely like want to be involved in their grandkids' lives and like have them over and stuff. So I thought that like having like a little place for children to like be able to play in or whatnot would suit this house. Then on the right side, there's not really much there. It's just like sort of plants built up into like a sort of maze shape. Not quite sure where I decided to go with that, but I'm definitely not complaining. I do quite like that. And there's a bunch of plants everywhere, which is really like clustered up. Some sections are sort of overgrown, but not all of them and not everywhere, because I wanted there to be a lot, but I didn't want it to be like a mess, you know? And then at the back of the house, there's like an outdoor sitting area where the family can just like go out in the summer or something and like relax out there. And then there's also like a dining table so they can have like family meals outdoors if they'd like, or like another space for them to entertain. But I guess I should also say something about Sawyer, because I've been saying that there is a Sawyer and that they are the youngest child, but I haven't really said anything like actually about them. So in terms of traits, I mean, Sawyer is a toddler at this point, so they only have one trait and it is independent, which I'm pretty sure was randomized, but I don't really play often. Well, yeah, I don't really often play The Sims just like normally, I guess. So I haven't had much experience with like different types of toddlers, so I just went with what was randomized, and it seemed like a pretty decent trait. I think it's like it makes them easier to handle and all that, so I think that worked out pretty well. And they are the youngest child in the family. They are roughly like 4 or 5, which is like, so there's like 14 years between them and June. Their parents had them in their like mid-30s, I think. How old were the parents when they had Sawyer? Yeah, so both the parents had their kids basically when they were kids. So Minx had June when he was like 16, I think, and then Lara had Riley when she was like 18, and then they met when they were in their like, I think, early to mid 20s, something like that. And then pretty much like when the story starts, so that's just before June is going to go off to uni, I have Riley set as being 23, which I think I'm going to change to more like 21, because I think she's like doing her last year of uni when June goes off to do her year. And at that point, Sawyer is 2. So yeah, Sawyer's 2. So even younger than I thought, actually. So, you know, huge difference between them and their older siblings. But yeah, in terms of their story, like definitely the parents, I don't really know what the story was, why their parents had their kids so young, but I just sort of thought that may be interesting, just having had them really young and then meeting each other and like bonding over the fact that they had both been like really young parents, and the other biological parents are definitely not in the picture. I don't know if it's because they're dead or because they just didn't want anything to do with them, but yeah. And yeah, so Lara and Minx ended up bonding over the fact that they were both single parents at really young ages, and then they got together and fell in love and it was all happy, and they wanted to have like kids of like that, both of like between them, like basically they wanted to have like kids that would be biologically both of theirs, and they both wanted to have like semi-large families, which to me a large family is anything over 3 kids, to be completely honest, and they ended up having 4, so there's that. But I don't think there's much really left for me to say, because I have been rambling on about I don't even know what for quite some time. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave you guys to some nice music, and there's probably a few minutes or so left of the video, and then there'll be the remaining thumbnails of the home. And yeah, if you'd like to download the shell and landscaping, then definitely make sure to check out my Patreon, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.